National Court stays criminal proceedings against Damaru. Churches volunteer to broker discussions. Papua New Guinea Defence Force trains with US Marines.
This is National EMTV News with Mary Bartolo.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us for Monday's news. This afternoon, the Waigani National Court stayed the criminal proceeding against National Fraud and Anti-Corruption Directorate boss Matthew Damaru. The court gave orders for the police commissioner and his officers not to take criminal actions against fraud investigators who were involved in the arrest of Justice Sir Bernard Sakora until further notice. Mr. Damaru was arrested and charged on June the 16th in relation to the arrest of Sir Bernard.
Mr. Damaru was charged for 2 counts of abuse of office and unlawful deprivation of liberty. His arrest comes after the arresting and charging of Sir Bernard in April of judicial corruption. However, the Committal Court has dismissed the charges against Sir Bernard based on the grounds that formal procedures were not followed before his arrest. Today, Damaru's lawyer, Mac Ronald Nale from Jama Lawyers, argued in this ex parte stay application that the warrant of arrest issued to the judge was valid. He said Damaru was arrested and charged for performing his official duties. After the court hearing, Damaru told the media that Fraud Directorate will follow due processes again to re-arrest and pursue Sir Bernard's case in court. In the meantime, Justice Hitalai Kiele Polume, who presided this court, had granted the stay application in the interest of justice and on the balance of convenience that Mr. Damaru and his fraud officers have a role to play as police officers and have high-profile cases to deal with in court. Pasinata Yama, National EMTV News.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference of PNG and Solomon Islands is volunteering to conduct reconciliation ceremonies for the affected higher learning institutions in the country. General Secretary Father Victor Roche says stakeholders have discussed efforts to bring parties involved and conduct a ceremony of forgiveness. The CBC wants normalcy returned and students to return to class.
The Catholic Bishops' Conference is again concerned with the continuing unrest in higher learning institutions around the country. General Secretary Father Victor Roch says CBC and other stakeholders are putting their hand up to facilitate reconciliation ceremonies among the parties concerned. CBC believes a neutral body must bring everyone together for a common good.
There is still mistrust between the students and the administration of the university. There is mistrust still between the students and the police, and still mistrust between the students and the government and the parties involved. So the CBC offers itself to facilitate a reconciliation first in a Melanesian way.
For the past 2 weeks, students have been displaced after talks of returning to classes arose following the UPNG student shooting in Port Moresby. Classes in Lace, Unitec and University of Goroka resulted in classes suspended and students told to exit campus grounds. This morning, the head of Catholic Bishops' Conference expressed that there should be no more bloodshed while allowing investigations for students and to allow peace be restored.
Because at present, I don't think the students will be ready to go to classes because there is mistrust between the students and the administration. So I think they need a neutral body to bring them together, and the CBC is ready to facilitate that situation.
Different stakeholders have shown interest in staging the reconciliation ceremonies.
And I talked to already Governor Powers Parkhope of NCD. He has agreed to be part of the team, and Mr. Lawrence Stephens, the director of Transparency International, he has agreed to be part of the team.
Meanwhile, Anga students at the University of Goroka have called on the government to investigate what was described as a sudden attack on 4 Highlands provincial groups, resulting in 46 students hospitalized at the Goroka General Hospital. Jack Lapave Jr., National EMTV News.
With the upcoming APEC meeting in 2018, the Papua New Guinea Defence Force has entered into a strategic exercise with the world-famous United States Marines. The exercise, called Koa Moana, which is the Hawaiian language for ocean warrior. 60 Papua New Guinean soldiers are taking part in the training.
While Koa Moana is a bilateral exchange, it is a significant achievement for PNG Defence Force. Since the Second World War, PNG soldiers have been participating in trainings alongside the United States General Army. But exercise Koa Moana is the first training in the history of PNGDF with the US Marines.
The purpose of the exercise is to practice skills in various military fields. Traditionally, the PNGDF has a strong and long-standing relationship with the US Army. But this will be the first time that we are engaging with the US Marines.
The US Marines arrived on board a naval ship, Sakajiwia, last Friday. They are currently training with the 1 RPIR soldiers at the Tarama barracks.
General military skills, weapon handling, we will conduct a range practice in which we get to practice our weapon handling. Urban terrain, urban warfare skills, and the range of skills that come within them, as well as general military skills in open and closed terrain.
The training with the Marines is vital as PNG prepares for the upcoming Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation meeting to be held in Port Moresby in 2018.
We are preparing also to provide safety and security for a number of key national events in the future, in particular APEC in 2018.
Exercise Koa Moana, which began yesterday, will end this Thursday. Quinten Alomp, National EMTV News.
Works Minister Francis Awesa has condemned the recent student clashes at the University of Goroka. Minister Awesa was in Mendi over the weekend to discuss and address the current unrest with Southern Highland students attending Unitec and UOG. Awesa said the 3 affected universities will be funded by the government to extend this academic year.
UPNG, Unitec, University of Goroka, long extended academic year in up long 16th of December. Government by funding is extra time by go inside long this la na inogat one bla student by miss out long all academic work program.
University of Papua New Guinea Acting Chancellor Dr. Nicholas Mann has said that students are gradually returning to class. He said students were traumatized after the June 8th police shooting and counseling is being provided by the university's chaplain. Dr. Mann said tomorrow the Vice-Chancellor and Chancellor from the University of Papua New Guinea, University of Technology and the University of Goroka will be meeting with Chief Secretary Isaac Lupari to talk on academic credibility of the universities. Mann said the academic credibility is at stake due to the long boycott of classes. You're watching National EMTV News. We continue after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Over 300 participants took part in International Yoga Day celebrations in Port Moresby with impressive yoga drills. Although commemorated on June the 21st every year, yoga has become a part of the NCD's Walk for Life program, which sees city residents walking every Sunday. It is organized by NCD Governor Paus Pako, Yoga Unites PNG, and supported by the Indian Association of Papua New Guinea. Eric Harupma with this report.
In the wee hours of Sunday, city residents took to the streets of Port Moresby celebrating International Yoga Day. Among participants were Indian High Commissioner His Excellency Nagendra Kumar Saxena and United Nations Resident Coordinator Roy Trivedi. In a media statement received by EMTV today, Mr. Trivedi said the United Nations General Assembly recognized the holistic benefits of yoga for the health and well-being of citizens throughout the world, regardless of race, gender, religion, ethnicity, strength, age or ability of a person. In 193 countries around the world, people have marked this International Day, and in Papua New Guinea, he is pleased and honored in his capacity as the UN Resident Coordinator to taking part in this event.
He thanked Governor Poe Spako for making the arrangement for this event, which has combined the power of Work for Life and International Yoga Day. The word yoga is derived from the Sanskrit language. It means to unite, symbolizing the unity of mind, body and consciousness. The practice of yoga is based on the principle of non-violence. It was introduced into the country 4 years ago by Fazila Basari as part of the City Pharmacy Limited's corporate social responsibility program. Over a period, many Papua New Guineans have been trained yoga and become a popular sport because of its importance. This has prompted authorities concerned, NCDC, to introduce it to youths in settlements and juveniles as a remedy to end conflict and live with peace and harmony. Eric Arupma, National MTV News.
For many years, Alatau in Milne Bay Province has been regarded as one of the top tourist destinations in Papua New Guinea. And this looks set to continue, with Alatau being identified as a pilot destination for the PNG Tourism Hub initiative. Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Tobias Kulang, was in the province at the weekend to explain the Tourism Hub initiative, as well as see firsthand some of the services provided by hospitality providers. Milne Bay Province has for many years been one of the provinces at the forefront in attracting tourists, both locally and from abroad. In recent years, its provincial capital, Alatau, has seen a gradual increase in visitor numbers, allowing for many new businesses to venture into the hospitality industry. Minister for Tourism, Arts and Culture, Tobias Kulang, was in the province over the weekend to experience firsthand the services offered by the hospitality industry in Alatau. Whilst in the province, Minister Kulang had the opportunity to meet with members of the business community as well as the Provincial Tourism Bureau. His main purpose, explaining the decision to select Alatau as a tourism hub, as well as the financial benefits Alatau may receive through support of this initiative, funding from the World Bank to the tune of 60 million kina.
Under these arrangements, we are looking at ensuring that we do all of the right infrastructure and the right administrative structure, so we're able to sell those destinations, the products within it, and use those two destinations as a marketing front to sell the rest of the country and slowly bring on other provinces online.
The support from the World Bank comes at a time when cash flow within tourism is at lower levels than previous years. However, according to World Bank Development Specialist Hannah Meseli, the opportunities available to Alatau as a pilot destination in the Tourism Hub initiative can only be realized if stringent conditions are met, among them the development of a provincial tourism master plan.
We have been here a number of times before with these discussions, and it's great that these are now moving forward with stakeholders really identifying what kinds of investments and interventions can be made to move the tourism sector forward. Tourism is many different activities that come together, and the communication and the coordination is very important, along with the infrastructure. And the World Bank looks forward to being able to support the government and the private sector to really create Alatau as well as Kokopo as two world-class, exceptional destinations.
From initial interactions with the Milne Bay tourism and hospitality providers, Minister Kulang is confident that the province can successfully meet the conditions set by the World Bank to draw down funding to support this initiative.
This weekend we have engaged the provincial government through the Tourism Bureau, we have engaged the private sector through the Chamber of Commerce and the Industry Association to ensure that they come on board and help with the master plan development and also the identification of the key infrastructure. So whatever the World Bank needs is furnished to them, so we will move quicker towards drawing down of that facility.
And now a look at the finance news. The kina opened unchanged at 0.3160 US dollars in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying 0.3085 US dollars, 0.4128 Australian dollars, 0.2696 euro and 32.08 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold and copper closed lower, while coffee and cocoa closed the day higher. Palm oil, crude oil and copper closed the day higher. And on the stock markets, the Dow Jones closed 57 points lower, the ASX closed 83 points higher, and the All Ordinaries closed 76 points higher. You're watching National MTV News, more local and international news after the break. Stay tuned. Welcome back to National MTV News. The people of 8 Mile Settlement in the Port Moresby Northeast District in Port Moresby today witnessed the groundbreaking ceremony for their water project. The project, an initiative of local member Labi Amayu, will have Edarano set up 200 communal taps. Construction is set to take place this week, and the settlers of 8 Mile can't wait to have access to clean water.
People at the 8 Mile Settlement have said the water supply has been a need.
25 years. Mibla Stablo, 8 Mile, we have been served for the most needed service. This line, come up. Now you carry this service, come inside, Mibla. Mibla welcoming you. Now Mibla Hamamas, we are prepared to work with you.
First Executive Officer Sam Phillip, on behalf of Mr. Amayu, said the member had finished off other water projects in other settlements in Northeast, and 8 Mile Settlement would be one of the last settlements.
Bayulugim Noga settlement. Tasolo must be noticed and plenty settlement stuff. 8 years. For 25 years, Nogar Wara, Labi Amayu Karam Waraigo. Bushwara, Nogar Wara, lifetime blongol. Labi Amayu Karam Waraigo, way of drinking water now. All para must be noticed. Now I'm come back to 8 Mile now.
Phillips said there will be 200 communal taps in the 3 stages of 8 Mile Settlement, and each household is expected to pay 20 kina a month.
Mas Longena, Mr. Bluya, remember I found him 2.7 million. Eba goal of finish him on this project go now last block. Okay, but start Bluya now first stage now maybe walking first and second and but start one time.
The 8 Mile Water Project groundbreaking ceremony comes after Prime Minister Peter O'Neill launched the project last year. Adelaide Sirox Kari, National MTV News.
Polling for the Nabak local level government presidential seat by-election has been rescheduled to Wednesday. Morabe's Electoral Commission office revised the dates after a delay in payment for the by-election. The 50,000 kina check payment was released late on Friday. Returning officer Frida Joseph says logistics and materials for the election relied highly on these funds. The late payment has caused hiccups in the provincial election calendar. However, the polls will still go on for 14 days as planned and is set to begin on Wednesday the 22nd of June and end on July the 1st. The United Nations has released a new report with some alarming statistics on refugees around the world. About 65 million people are refugees, asylum seekers, or internally displaced in their own country. Half of all refugees are children, and many are separated from their parents. Here is a story about a refugee family stranded in Greece and their daily struggles.
Imagine the fate of your family hinges on Skype. You have just 1 hour a day to get this critical call through, and every family member must be there and visible. So you call and call and call. Well, welcome to the life of the Hale family, refugees from Aleppo, now stranded in Greece. I've been calling for 2 months and 7 days, says Anas Hale. It's tough. I just dialed again, but you can hear the response, he says. There is only that noise. That noise is the sound of the Hale family trying to apply for asylum in Europe. Greece's asylum relocation service only takes asylum appointments via Skype, and the service is only open for 1 hour a day. Of course, it's a ploy, says Anas's wife Maram. Is it even possible that they could answer the phone calls of so many thousands of people? For 1 hour, we sat with the family in their spotlessly clean tent, with their 2 young children, Maram's parents, and her sister. In that time, Anas tried to call 36 times. No one answered. The Greek government says an in-person registration service is slowly being rolled out in camps, but for many, Skype is the only option. While they Skype, Maram tries to keep the kids busy with drawings and books, but it's the same routine every day for the last 67 days, with no answer. 6-year-old Lais asks us, do you want to know where I want to go?
Where do you want to go?
Germany, he answers. But to go to Germany, Lais and his family must first get through on Skype, and no one knows when that will be.
A growing memorial site at the front lawn of the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts in downtown Orlando yesterday honored the victims of a massacre at a gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida. At least 49 people were killed and 53 others were wounded at the Pulse nightclub on Sunday before the gunman was shot dead by police. Floods triggered by recent continuous rains swept through southern parts of China, Chinese state media reported yesterday. 10 local people who were trapped in a residential house in Huanggang City in Hubei province had to be evacuated by rescuers and transferred to safer grounds.
In Jiangxi province, floods damaged farmland and stranded cars in the street, and local firefighters were dispatched to evacuate local people to safety. Torrential rains have also affected southwestern Chongqing, leaving 5 people dead. The severe weather began on June 9. Over 16,000 people have evacuated their homes, and 1,100 homes have been destroyed. China's National Meteorological Center continued to issue a yellow alert for rain, and said torrential downpours were expected to hit parts of southern China until this afternoon. Vanessa Knight, MTV World News.
Here with National MTV News, Trukai Sports is next. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. 4-time Olympian and Commonwealth Games champion Ryan Pinney is among top swimmers competing at the Oceania Championships in Suva, Fiji tomorrow. The biannual event, first held in 1993, will return to Fiji for the first time since 2004. Action will begin with open water swimming in 5 kilometers races in the Appraising Beach Resort tomorrow before the pool action gets underway on Tuesday, June the 21st.
The week-long event is due to conclude on Saturday, June 25th with 10-kilometer water races. Unlike at the Pacific Games, both Australia and New Zealand are due to participate alongside Pacific Island nations, although Australia in particular is not sending its strongest team. PNG Olympic Committee General Secretary Ovita Rapila says the team has been preparing well for this event leading up to the Rio Olympics. Pinney, the Melbourne 2006 Commonwealth Games champion, who became the first Papua New Guinean to reach an Olympic final at Beijing 2008, will lead an 8-person team from the 2015 Pacific Games, including Ryan Maskelin, Barbara Valley-Skelton and Sam Sigis.
Part in this Oceania Championships, including Sam Sigis, Ryan Maskelin and Barbara Valley-Skelton as well. They're all, working to improve on their times and as much as possible try and qualify as well.
Another star due to compete is New Caledonia's Lara Gregan. The 36-time Pacific Games gold medal winner is a France Olympian but competes at regional events for the overseas territory. Lara Gregan is set to represent New Caledonia. A 20-strong team is led by 17-year-old national age group record holder Zach Stablety-Cook. Rising star Gabriel Fa-Mosili, the world junior champion in the 50-meter backstroke, is set to lead a 35-strong New Zealand squad. Shane Soroya, National MTV Sports.
Morobe Rugby Football Union is still struggling to secure funding from business houses to run its programs this year. The MRFU is yet to secure a naming rights sponsor for their competition. The competition is a senior competition played in the province where young aspiring players are selected to represent Morobe in bigger competitions. MRFU President Ave Hiarua says most of the business houses have turned down his request for sponsorship due to the current economic situation.
MRFU is one of the best rugby union associations in the country. The association's provincial team, Morobe Hammerheads, is the current national champions who had won the PNG Sevens Championship last year in Port Moresby. But that's not all. They were also the undefeated team during the Super Force Challenge some years back.
We actually is a champion province in rugby there. We're the current champion also for PNG Games. We won the PNG Games Sevens competition since the PNG Games started. Up until the last games, Morobe has won gold.
There is a high interest in the code in the province. It is one of the few sports that has promoted Morobe province. However, the lack of interest in sponsorship and marketing of rugby union in the province is lingering the association to tap into new areas and discover aspiring young talents.
I said the sponsorship and marketing of the game is the only missing link. If we can have all that in place, we can be able to tap into those areas and those places that have potential, and then we can bring out the best players out from those places.
Hayarura says referees are also supposed to be properly attired when officiating, but this cannot be done due to limited funding. For now, they are only running the competition from the 10,000 kina sponsorship made by the National Sports Foundation earlier this year.
I would love to properly attire them, have them uniformed. That's what we have planned, but we cannot do it because of funding.
Mata Luis, National EMTV Sports, Ley.
The football and the long road to the 2017 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in South Korea begins in Tonga on Tuesday, when 4 of the region's emerging football nations vie for a place at the OFC Under-20 Championship later this year. The countries participating are Tonga, Cook Islands, Samoa and American Samoa. The winner will advance to the OFC Under-20 tournament in Vanuatu. Tonga will be attempting to take full advantage of playing in front of the home crowd in the opening match against the Cook Islands. The two sides have met just once before at the Under-20 level, with the 2001 encounter ending in a 1-all draw. Trukai Sports continues after the break. Don't go away.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome back to Trukai Sports. The NRL is embarking on another program to educate rugby league fans and children in Papua New Guinea and across the Pacific. They announced their plans today, which will also emphasize on educating young women.
The Pacific Warrior Program is part of this initiative, which aims to uncover rugby league talent throughout the Pacific. More than 200,000 students and 1,000 teachers across 100 schools throughout PNG, Fiji, Samoa and Tonga will benefit from these programs. NRL will be implementing tailored educational resources and health and awareness programs as well. These programs will continue to build upon the success of those already established in partnership with the Australian and the other participating countries. Rowan Sims, captain of the Harvey Norman Gillaroos, joined Stanton Albert from the Penrith Panthers New South Wales side at the National Football Stadium to officially launch this program. Elijah Levet, National EMTV Sports.
Port Moresby Suburban Rugby League hosted the one-day Wayon Uli Cup in honour of the former league great. Two teams, Morata Swans and Marane K Rats, battled it out at the Coney Tigers Oval on Saturday. Morata Swans came out on top, defeating Marane Rats 2014.
The competition was hosted by the POM Suburban Rugby League in recognition of old-timer Wayon Uli's contribution to rugby league. Vice President Noel Mapa was pleased that PSRL has given Wayon Uli the much-deserved recognition by hosting the cup in his name.
Inside played 84, Inside 87. Miko is Postuma. Postuma means 7 years. Listen, now Mika Moro Sabablik and Misa program, now Mika Ponjali Moro Sabablik.
Wayon Uli was present to witness the game and has also given 200 kina to the winning team.
Previous last year, we have been starting the cup long the tournament long a long time diet sabota fans long we play in long Morata off-season league. He come outside long Port Moresby Suburb Rugby League. Port Moresby Suburb Rugby League we have been running in long almost 8 years now long. This is 2016, but making 8 years long Port Moresby Suburb Rugby League. Fara wine been start long time when the mipla lo since long morta of season been starting in 1990s. He come now to 2026 mipla been starting been coming to pot me some rugby league mipla afraid consel long PNG rugby league na mipla start was one pla tournament rugby league in long PNG. So long support long Fara wine mipla long thing mem lo this la day
Coinciding with the Wyon Cup was the round 8 of PSRL and selections for the Southern Zone Confederation Cup. PSRL will be sending 3 teams, 2 men's and a women's team representing NCD.
Out of 4 teams, by playing trials on end of this month or first week of July next month. Out of 4 teams, we'll be having 2 final teams. Not all the players in this 4 trials teams will take part on the final selection. We'll still go back in the club games, making final 2 teams to take part in Southern Zone trials on August. I think first week on 6th. I think we guess that's all, but and by the first week August so we have 4 teams to play trials. Then after the 4 teams, we come down on 2 teams, final teams to take part in the Southern Zone trials for Pom Sababen.
Dinero Strico, National EMTV Sports.
And that ends True Kai Sports for today. We'll have for you the weather details when we return.
True Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for the next 24 hours, we begin in the southern region. Port Moresby mostly fine with a chance of evening thunderstorms and light showers or drizzles with a top temperature of 31 degrees. In Damaru, you can expect some showers with a top temperature of 31 degrees, 31 as well in Kerma, mainly fine. Showers and rain with thunderstorms in Alotau Milne Bay province. And showers and thunderstorms expected in Popondetta over the next 24 hours, a top temperature there of 31 degrees. To the Momasa region, Ley mostly fine with a chance of a few showers with a top temperature of 31 degrees, 25 in Wow, mainly fine, but you can expect some showers. A shower or 2 Madang, Wewak and Vanimo with a top temperature of 32 there. To the New Guinea Islands region, light showers expected in Lorengau, a few showers in Kavieng, showers and thunderstorms for Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe, and showers and thunderstorms for Buka, Autonomous Region of Bougainville. And to the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, showers with morning fog, mainly fine with morning fog for Goroka, Kundiawa, Mendi and Wabeg. You can expect some showers with morning fog. To a look at the forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours, waters of southern PNG Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerma, Yule Island, Hood Point to Samarai Island, seas 0.5 to 2 meters. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands with waters of Samarai Island to Cape Bogo, Finchafen, waters of Long Island to Madang, Bogia, Wewak, Aitape, Vanimo, and northern PNG Indonesian border, seas 1 to 2.5 meters. Waters of Finchafen through Vitia Strait to Long Island, including Siasi Islands and the Dampier Strait, seas 2 to 2.5 meters. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands to New Island, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. And waters of East New Britain to Bougainville, seas 0.7 to 2 meters. And a look at the ocean forecast for PNG areas. Coral Sea and Solomon Sea. Seas moderate to rather rough with southeasterly winds at 15 to 25 knots with stronger gusts of 34 knots at times. Bismarck Sea sees moderate with patchy areas of rather rough weather with southeasterly winds at 15 to 20 knots, increasing to 25 knots over some areas. And the Pacific Ocean sees slight to moderate with east to southeasterly winds at 10 to 15 knots. The International Organization for Migration, or IOM, has launched several community-based disaster preparedness programs in the country since the year 2001. IOM is one of the international humanitarian organizations that conducts community-based disaster programs to assist people in disaster-prone regions to be resilient in the event of a disaster. The IOM team was in Rugby last week to carry out a community resilience workshop on Matupit Island, one of the most vulnerable locations in East New Britain province.
Matupit Island sits under the foot of the Damaru and Vulcan volcanoes. Census estimates put the total population of Matupit at around 4,000. Despite the ever-present risk of volcanic eruption, the people still remain. Numerous attempts by the provincial government and traditional landowners to have them relocated were unsuccessful because they keep coming back. Only a few families have been relocated to the Warangoi and Sikut areas in Kokopo. The Ward 3 councillor Johnson Peniel tells me it's the same story all over the island about the people who chose not to leave.
It's only a quarter of the population of Matupit all lives in Block and Tabla Sikut. But 3/4 of the population, people here stop yet long palace. Got ground yet.
Last week, a team from the International Organization for Migration visited the village and conducted a 3-day workshop on disaster resilience with the knowledge that the Matupit people have made up their minds not to leave their island village and relocate to safer areas. The team, led by Simon Kafu, seeks to educate the people to look for possible ways to establish long-term solutions that will support their lives in this volcano-prone island.
What we are doing here is trying to see the reason why people are living here. So what we do, we educate them. We educate them that you are living where the disaster zone is. You are at risk of volcanic eruption.
Damaru and Vulcan aren't giving off emissions, but volcanologists say that doesn't make it any safer. The last eruption of the two volcanoes was in September 1994. It buried Matupit Island and the entire CBD of Rugby under several meters of ash. Today the vegetation has writhened, covering the barren land, and for the daring and the die-hard, they too have writhened and lived their lives oblivious to the recent past. But the IOM wants to make sure that the people must be ready for an event of any volcanic disaster and how they will restore their lives after that disaster. Edwin Fidelis, National EMTV News, Kokopo.
And before we go, a recap of our top stories tonight. National Court stays criminal proceedings against fraud director. Churches volunteer to broker reconciliation between students and authorities. And the PNG Defence Force trains with the US Marines. And that's the news this Monday, the 20th of June 2016. On behalf of the EMTV News team, pleasant viewing. Good night.